Hello, everybody. My name is Joanne O'Sullivan, and welcome to my podcast, Just for Once. So hello, and welcome to episode 2. So as you know, I'm trying to get back into stand-up comedy, and I've set a goal for myself because I thought it was important to have something to strive for, something sort of to mark if I get there. And for me, that is Just for Laughs in Montreal, maybe getting onto one of the bigger shows. And, you know, back in the day when I was doing stand-up, that was actually a dream of mine. Although, when I think about it, I don't know if I really researched how you even get there. Like, I was doing my comedy, I was doing my sets, I was, getting a few bigger shows, doing lots of open mics, but I don't know that I ever went, like, how do you get to Just for Laughs? I mean, because this was 15 years ago, so I don't know. I mean, because tonight I Googled it, and it's like, you can send in a 7-minute demo in January, and then they consider you. So I'm going to do that. That gives me some months to do that. But I don't know if I knew about that 15 years ago. I don't even know if Google existed 15 years ago. I bet you know what? I bet I'm gonna Google that. This might make for bad podcasting, but I'm curious if I could have Googled it. I'm gonna Google. One second. When did Google start? Oh, it came right up. Clearly lots of people have Googled that. So it started in 1998. And so yeah, I could have Googled it all those years ago. My bad. Well, I didn't. So anyway, this time I did, and it essentially sort of gave you some deadlines to submit. But I'm thinking that maybe it's worth it for me to actually talk to somebody who's done Just for Laughs. So on this episode, I'm going to be interviewing Sean Cullen. It was a lovely interview, I have to say. I'm also learning how to podcast. I interviewed him at a bar. I would not recommend that for newer podcasters, so pardon the noise. So I interviewed him. It went well. There's one moment of, well, something happens, and I'll let you listen to find out what that was. But he was lovely. He had some great advice. So this is me talking to Sean Cullen about me trying to get into Just for Laughs. Sean, you've done Just for Laughs at the level that I aspired to. And I'm just curious, how many times have you done Just for Laughs?
Well, I've probably done it, I'm going to say maybe 15 times.
Oh, wow.
15 or 20 times, somewhere in there.
So you every year...
The first time I remember doing it was 1990 or 89. Maybe that was what it was. So yeah, we were just busking. And the way we got on with Corky and the Juice Pigs was just busking. We started to busk on the street, and then security came immediately, swooped down on us and stopped us, and they said, well, you like it, we just want you to have, they gave us accreditation and then allowed us to busk again.
Oh, that's great.
So that's nice. And then they put us on a show, one of the stages, which was very nice of them. Mm-hmm. And after that we did it. But it's always, the route seems to be, I'm going to do showcases. I have to showcase and get on. And, I think you have a good chance of getting in.
Really?
I think you have just this podcast alone, just trying to do this is it's the hook you need to get onto Just for Laughs. Mm-hmm. And that it's a good time for women in comedy.
So I started doing open mics again.
Oh, boy.
How long has it been since you've done, like, a true open mic? Like, you show up, you put your name down, and you get up and you do 5 to 7.
I don't know if I've ever done them.
Oh, really?
Well, no, I don't think I've ever done a real open mic night. Oh. I mean, by the time I got to do my solo stuff, I'd already become kind of an established name with the Juice Pigs, so I never really had to do that. And then when I started going down to Los Angeles, I was kind of at a higher level, and people kind of gave me shows or gave me spots on shows. And a lot of those are basically open mic nights in themselves. Yeah. But I didn't have to sign up for most of them. I just was
So you'll asked. Will you come with me to a few open mics?
Of course I would. I'm trying to do new material.
So then, what is your I should say, so you're not, I mean, the open mics are a great opportunity to try out new material, but the very first one that I did, the audience, it was 6 comics in the room.
Of course.
And so I did my first set in I did a few sets about 3 years ago, transparently, but they were okay, and then I got too busy and I didn't continue. But before that, it was about 10 years before that.
Right.
So my first one coming back was in front of 5 male comics, which was my dream to come back like that.
Of course.
But it went okay. But aside from open mics, do you have any advice for somebody who is, I'm not a veteran, but I got a lot of stand-up under my belt.
Sure.
But I never really quite
I don't know. What I always say to people when they're starting, and you're not really starting, but you're starting again, is to get every show you can and do every spot you can.
Yeah.
Do anytime someone says, would you want to do that? Yes, I'll do that. And because it's just repetition and becoming comfortable in the stage and in your own voice.
Yeah.
And the other thing is finding your voice,
Yeah.
like what people believe you talking about. I think a lot of comics take a long time, like say go do open mics for 5-10 years, trying to figure out what they should be talking about.
Yeah. I think I'm lucky in that I know my voice.
You have an identity.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be a quicker transition into,
Do you think I could do it in a year?
I think you can do it.
Maybe not the gala.
No, but I think you can be getting interest and going to showcases. Why not?
Okay, so I have a document here.
Okay.
This document I found on my computer.
Nice.
And it's called Done Bits.
Done Bits.
And it's essentially that. It's bits
that are done.
That were done. That I used to do. And I'd like to get, a little bit. So some of them might be dated.
Okay.
And so you can let me know if you think that I should do them or not. So let me see what's a good one. So maybe I should just give you some names. There was Vulva Vote.
Vulva Vote sounds like a winner. Everyone loves that. Everyone loves to talk about the vulva.
So that one had hand gestures, so I don't think I should do it for the podcast. There was one called Figure Skating.
Okay, well, good.
I was single 15 years ago, and I had a joke about how, because I'm single, I should become a doubles figure skater because there would be guaranteed crotch touching.
Oh.
Because of the way they do
them up. Well, that's fair. It's a good bit.
I had one called Green Monkey.
Oh.
Because scientists had mixed the DNA of a monkey and a jellyfish.
To create a fluorescent monkey?
Yes. And so I had a bit. I never found a good punchline for this, so I abandoned it eventually. But I started by saying it's not useful. I don't mind scientists experimenting, but make it useful until we are a nation plagued by losing our monkeys in the dark. That's not useful.
That sounds good. I like that one. But that appeals to my nonsensical.
Well, yeah. So I'm going to stop reading you those.
Okay.
I find it
that's all right.
mortifying.
Sure.
I don't know
it's funny to look back on what you were doing then.
Yeah.
And now you just had more life experience.
Yeah.
Than anything else.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. So your best advice for me.
Just do it.
Every show I can.
Every show you can, get up there and do it. And hopefully something, you just naturally start speaking and in your own voice and finding the things that you find funny.
Yeah. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you coming on.
See you at Just for Laughs.
Yes.
When we're both in.
When we are both in. That's how I'm going to get in, actually. I'm going to ride your tailcoats.
Tailcoats or coattails.
Oh, coattails. Oh, my God.
Ride my tailcoats.
Freaking out.
You can do that.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye. So that was my conversation with Sean Cullen, and a few things about it. As a tip from me to you, if you are a stand-up listening to this podcast, don't ever read a pro your old material. in my head, like in my mind, I was thinking as I was walking to meet Sean, I was thinking, I'm going to read him some of my jokes from 15 years ago. Lots of them are bad. It's going to make a great moment on the podcast. We're going to laugh, and it's going to be hysterical. But Sean, because he's a pro and because he's so kind and sweet, he really, he wanted to help me and be nice about it. And the look on his face, oh my God, it was excruciating. I wish you could have seen the look on his face. Oh, I can barely breathe. When I was telling him the figure skating joke, which I maybe did twice and I would never do again. Oh God, he's so sweet. And that hurt so much. So that bit didn't quite play out the way that I wanted it to. Anyway, oh my God. That really, I can't even. Anyway, okay. Moving on from that horror. I also learned I need to learn how to ask follow-up questions on these interviews, because he mentioned showcases, that one way that people get on to Just for Laughs is to sign up for showcases. I don't know where these showcases are or how they happen, but that's my homework. I'm going to find out. I'm going to find me a showcase. And I guess lastly, being realistic, he didn't think I would get there in a year. And I think that's fair. His main advice was just keep doing shows. And I guess for me, that's the hardest part. Being a mom, there's a lot of guilt for me to get out there. And actually, episode 3 is my interviewing my daughter to find out what she thinks about me becoming a stand-up again. As well as I'm going to take you with me to another open mic. And this time, there was a bit of an audience, so that was good. So I did learn some tips today. Mainly, don't read prose, your old material. So thank you for joining me for episode 2. Thank you to my guest, Sean Cullen, and onwards and upwards on my route to Just for Laughs. And until then, why don't you take a look back and see if you can dust off any of your old dreams and give them a shot, just for once.